true history. What's the truth to me may not be for everybody.
If I told you that you were unworthy of consideration and chose to ignore the influence of your entire race, would you stand for that?
If you teach the Negro that he has accomplished as much good as any other race, he will aspire to equality and justice without regard to race. Carter G. Woodson.
The father of Black history, he understood the importance of sharing the accomplishments of Black people to not just educate, but to uplift.
Let's have a conversation. Every generation. We need some education. We need some elevation. Blow the horn now.
If you've ever wondered why we celebrate Black History Month, listen up. Welcome to Making History Today, Vivid HUES365. I'm Keitha Nelson. We're bringing you a fresh look at our heroes from the past, those who continue to shape our present and future selves.
I'm Brooks Baptiste, and you're also going to meet some of the extraordinary men and women they've inspired.
Dr. Janetta Cole, president of the National Council of Negro Women, lends her voice to a deserving account of history as Jacksonville artist Mo Barrett captures the energy and emotion of the Combahee River Raid.
A soldier and a spy, standing on the side of the Union Army, armed. It's a sight never before seen. A woman at the head of battle. Harriet Tubman combines forces with abolitionist Colonel James Montgomery for a secret military mission in South Carolina. Their plan? To rescue enslaved men, women, and children. A raid along the Combahee River. Trusted. Tubman sends word to enslaved people in the area. The raid would happen the first night of June, 1863. Lincoln's gunboats had come to set them free. 3 arcs set out on the Combahee River. Day drifts into night. Tubman strategically guides 150 soldiers close to shore, navigating around Confederate mines. Anxious, frightened, enslaved people await their freedom. Darting into the woods, a signal sparks a wave. Women running with twins hanging onto their necks, baskets on their heads, bags, squealing pigs, and screaming chickens in hand, all rushing into the gunboats at once. Here are her actual words. Of all the whole creation in the East or in the West, the glorious Yankee nation is the greatest and the best. Come along, come along, don't be alarmed. Calming the chaos, Tubman begins to sing. As people continue running to the shore and are hoisted onto boats filled with promise, leaving behind a Confederate military caught off guard, smoke billowing into the sky as plantations stripped by Union soldiers, mansions and fields burned. I'm Harriet Tubman. I'm the conductor on the Underground Railroad, and I never lost a passenger.
Talk about a trailblazer. You know, there's so much that we could learn from the heroes and sheroes of our past as they continue to inspire countless generations. And that goes for Taylor Richardson. She's been an advocate for young girls in STEM, crowdfunding thousands of dollars, living by the motto, representation matters.
Everyone has that something inside of them that makes them unique, just sometimes they haven't found it yet.
17-year-old Taylor Richardson.
She's known for a lot of her advocacy work and philanthropy work.
An aspiring astronaut who's always aimed high with dreams of becoming the first black woman to go to Mars. But growing up, being bullied for the color of her skin, she's always seen the importance of representation.
I know what it feels like to be discouraged, to be discriminated against, to feel like you can't do it. And I want to make sure specifically black girls are represented right now. And I just want to make sure that's the point that I get across, that we are capable.
Raising more than $250,000 with the help of some pretty big names in the last 7 years, Taylor has become a pace setter for youth philanthropy. She's been able to sponsor scholarships to send girls to STEM camps and even sponsor movie screenings for young girls across the nation.
So I had raised money for girls to see A Wrinkle in Time, and after that I went on Good Morning America, you know, ask Oprah a question and things like that. But what I didn't know is that she would be meeting me and that she would be talking to me and also donating to my campaign.
How much money have you raised?
$50,000.
$50,000?
Yes, ma'am.
That is amazing. You know what? I'm going to match your $50,000. There you go.
Thank you.
So now you got $100,000, okay?
Well, I was already shocked that she was next to me, that she was even speaking, but the fact that she matched it too, I was just so grateful, and it was very shocking.
Now, using her platform to amplify voices that are being silenced.
I've raised over $22,000 for the Black brand to be distributed in public libraries here in middle school and high school for Jacksonville and 40 U.S. embassies, Australia, Africa, and Germany.
Your reach starts in Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
It's gone to multiple places in the nation, and now it's in different countries. What do you say about that?
I don't look at it as something like, oh, you're doing such great things, you know, you need to be put on a pedestal, people need to know about this. I just feel like I just need to be doing great work. I feel like everybody deserves a chance to read a book or deserves to have basic necessities in their house. I just feel like everybody deserves a chance and an opportunity. So it feels like something I should be doing to me. It's my purpose in life, I feel like.
And while she still has the dream of someday becoming an astronaut, she's focusing on what she believes matters right now.
We have the information that we need to carry out the solutions to problems that haven't been solved for a while. So I feel like if you just give young people a voice, we can definitely, you know, make some change.
I'm telling you, she is leaving her mark, but we've got to show you this. She even has her very own mural on the Upper East Side of Jacksonville.
Welcome back to Making History Today, Vivid Hughes 365. I'm Keitha Nelson. You know, 9 months before Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus back in 1955, a 15-year-old girl took a similar stand by sitting down. Community advocate Dr. Barbara Darby narrates the audacity of Claudette Colvin as visual artist Erin Kendrick paints with vibrant colors a dark past.
March 2nd, 1955, Montgomery, Alabama. An A student who aspired to be president one day would learn that what she had been taught in her textbooks, her constitutional right, was not the instruction shared with or acknowledged by all. "Get up," said the bus driver as Claudette Colvin sat wary of the injustice she had seen already at 15 years old for far too long. Passengers demanded she be moved, but Colvin felt the presence of two former slaves whose bravery served as inspiration to all seeking justice, Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. She pulled from the power of their legacy and sat glued to the seat she was told to give up to a white passenger. Driven by anger and afraid, she yelled, "It's my constitutional right, and I am not going to move." Officers were called, and the teen in turn was dragged off the bus, arrested and booked. The vivid sound of a key locking Colvin inside of a jail cell terrified her. "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Reciting the Lord's Prayer, she yearned for help to soon arrive. But even after Colvin's minister paid her bail, the teen, along with her family, stayed up at night, all night, afraid of the possibilities ahead, knowing retaliation could be deadly. Colvin's moral courage helped change the course of history. Ultimately, she became one of 4 plaintiffs in Browder versus Gale, which ruled that Montgomery's segregated bus system was unconstitutional, a fact she already knew.
The NAACP did briefly consider using Colvin's case to challenge the segregation laws, but they decided against it because of her age. You've likely heard of Rosa Parks, but not Claudette Colvin.
Who says Black history can only be celebrated in the month of February? We're taking things beyond.
You're watching Making History Today. Vivid Hughes 365. We'll be right back.
Vivid Hughes 365, Making History Today, a First Coast News special presentation, sponsored by ViStar Credit Union.
There are many unsung heroes of Black history, and their courage and talent may not be well known, but their hardships paved the way. For people like Ulysses Owens Jr., he's dreaming big. He's climbing up the ranks in the jazz industry, refusing to leave the next generation behind.
At my core, I just love music and I love people, and I want to radiate that energy and love.
Two-time Grammy Award-winning drummer Ulysses Owens Jr., he's no stranger to the stage. Playing drums for jazz greats like Kurt Elling and the Christian McBride Big Band, he's pushed the boundaries of the sound of Black artistry. Growing up, hitting the snare drum and cymbals was what he loved doing, but despite his raw talent.
I had learning disabilities. I had people who told me that I would never be anything. I remember being 13 years old, having an algebra teacher telling me because I was struggling with algebra that I'll never, not only will I never do well in school, but I'll also never graduate college.
Little did that teacher know, Owens would attend college on a full scholarship to the Juilliard School in New York.
African Americans, we have thrived in the area of sports and entertainment, particularly performing, for years. Where we get counted out and discounted is when we don't have the education. Education is the difference between you being who you are and what you have the potential to be. You know, and so what my goal is to not have them be able to shut the door on me at all. And if they try to shut the door, then I'll just go open up my own building. So welcome to Don't Miss a Beat.
Here we are. So that's exactly what he did. In 2008, Owens launched Don't Miss a Beat. It's a nonprofit giving At Hope children a chance to grow in performing arts.
And we will come back home, and we will come back home, home again.
The reason why I resonate with my kids is because the way that the world tries to look at them and predetermine their failure, they did the same thing with me. But I just happened to make it out, and now I'm at a point where I made it in spite of them. So that's why I'm telling my kids, hey, here's how to make it, and I'm equipping them so that they're, not only are they successful, but they're overly successful.
Now, as an educator, philanthropist, author, and producer, he's clearing a path for others who remind him of himself.
So I feel like it's my job to tell them, hey, there's something in you, there's a seed there, and it's my job to do whatever I'm supposed to do to water it. I want to see these kids make it to that. You know, and even if they don't make it to Juilliard, they may go to Harvard. They don't go to Harvard, they'll go to Yale. If they don't go to Yale, they go to UNF. You know, to me, success doesn't have to be Ivy League. To me, success is you are completing something. And to me, when you complete something, you have the ability to continue to complete whatever it is that you want to achieve at.
And no matter where his award-winning talent takes him, there's no denying his Jacksonville roots.
Because this is where I'm from. Juilliard is what I do and what I've evolved into. But I'm there so that I can continue to pave the way for more kids and more people to evolve to get to places like that.
Jacksonville pioneer Nathaniel Glover, the first African-American elected sheriff in the state of Florida, lends his voice to share the mission of Carter G. Woodson in collaboration with Duval County School Superintendent Dr. Diana Green. As Jacksonville artist Keith Doles creates an oil painting of the father of Black history.
That he has accomplished as much good as any other race, he will aspire to equality and justice without regard to race. Carter G. Woodson.
September 1915. 50 years after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, freeing a people ill-equipped to thrive, taught from birth to believe they were inferior, Woodson aimed to right that wrong. Woodson, born in December of 1875 to former slaves who couldn't read or write, became an author, editor, publisher, and historian. The Harvard graduate would research and help spread the rich history of Black people, debunking myths that served to corrupt the minds of youth, oppressing generations.
Those who have no record of what their forebearers have accomplished lose the inspiration which comes from the teaching of biography and history.
Woodson and Minister Jesse E. Moreland founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History in Chicago, Illinois on September 9, 1915. Its purpose? To explore, preserve, and share the achievements of Black Americans, inventors and scientists, genius sprung from the minds of people whose worth they were taught was of no real value. By 1926, Negro History Week was created, celebrated during the second week of February, coinciding with Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass's birthdays. Communities across the nation would become inspired and organize local celebrations. Schools created history clubs, lectures sharing accomplishments and performances, bringing to light a history that could not be denied.
If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. Carter G. Woodson.
Woodson wanted blacks to be proud of their heritage, and he wanted other Americans to understand it. By the late 1960s, Negro History Week had evolved into Black History Month.
We celebrate Black history for the very reason that my folk in Jacksonville, Florida, who grew me up, would often say to me. They would say, "Girl, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been." That is why we celebrate Black history and Black her story, because the past teaches us about why the present is as it is, and it should inspire us to create a better future.
Let me help you fix your crime.